Hi, Scott. ROCKFILE back with another podcast review for you. Let's talk about 2002's Reign of Fire. Stay tuned because I have an interesting story about this actual Blu-ray release. Reign of Fire was a dragon movie that came out in 2002, starring Matthew McConaughey, Christian Bale, Gerard Butler. I didn't even know who Gerard Butler was in 2002, I don't think. Matthew McConaughey is chewing some scenery in this thing. He got all buff. He shaved his head to play this former American military dude and kind of a testosterone poster boy. Of course, Christian Bale was playing the sensitive type, and Gerard Butler plays his buddy. If you haven't seen this movie, it's actually a pretty decent dragon movie. It got not really great reviews back in the day, and a lot of people still don't talk about it or think about it much, but Rob Bowman, who had worked on quite a few things like Star Trek The Next Generation and went on to direct a total of 4 movies in his career, this is arguably his best one because he also directed Elektra, and the less you say about that, the better. I was into this when it was coming out. I think I read the novelization and the comic book. I remember seeing it in the theater. I remember when it came out on DVD and then Blu-ray. And through some of my moves, I lost the Blu-ray. I just didn't have it. And I wanted to see it the other day. And I looked it up on Amazon, and they had a copy for $8. I'm like, wow, this is a Touchstone movie. That was a division of Disney at the time. It came out on Buena Vista Disney's Blu-ray releases. They used to all have the same kind of covers when the Blu-rays first came out. Anyway, I bought this. It came in. I thought it was the same edition I've always had, and it's not. It's a 2023 edition released by Mill Creek, the budget label, who I guess got the rights from Disney. It is literally the same cover and the same disc, everything ported over, the extras, the menus, the previews from the time, from 2002, all of it. Even the fact that it's in MPEG 2 and not MPEG 4, which shows you how old the master is on this. They literally copied the original Touchstone Disney disc from Mill Creek last year in 2023. Well, a year plus. And you really wouldn't know that, but down in the corner it says a 2023 release. They could have at least upgraded the audio. The video looks fine considering, but the audio is a lossy Dolby Digital. And it sounded okay, but man, if they had done that lossless DTS 5.1, it would have been stunning. The effects have aged pretty well, although there's not that many effects in the film. Rob Bowman was very smart. This movie had a budget of $60 million, went on to gross $82 million. It's all on the screen. The tanks are real. The helicopter is real. The castles are real. None of it's CG. None of it's green screen. There's a couple green screen, us in the sky type things when Matthew McConaughey jumps off a building onto a dragon and things like that. But for the most of it, it's done real in camera with real tanks, real guns, real people. They spent a lot of budget on this stuff. Now, there could have been more plot, but I think it works in service of what was supposed to be a pretty short B kind of movie. In the beginning, it takes place in like modern times where we're digging a new tunnel in London and we hit a void, a vast open area. And our hero of the story, a young actor who's playing a young Christian Bale, goes in there and discovers that we've found dragons. The dragons get out, promptly start making baby dragons, and they take over the world in a very short period of time. These are dragons that burn everything to the ground because they eat the ash. They live on literal ash, so they want to burn everything to the ground. Humans were quickly overthrown as the number one species on the planet, and for the last 20 years or so, dragons have flown the sky, and we live in little communities, castles, and things, defending ourselves from these dragons that we really don't have much defense of. Their skin is pretty tough, and they breathe fire. I mean, what do you want? They're pretty horrible as dragons go. So into the life that were a kind of quiet life that Christian Bale and Gerard Butler and their families are living, trying to raise food and survive from season to season until they can one day triumph over the dragons. Their peace is interrupted by Matthew McConaughey and some military types. They make the joke that, because this is filmed in England, oh, great, just what we need, Americans. And they are. I mean, they're woohoo, we're here to kill the dragons and save everybody. But, they want more than that. And at first, there's the struggle between Christian Bale and Matthew McConaughey. And Matthew McConaughey, like I said, got really buffed up for this. He's playing, that devout kind of Texan type thing. So anyway, the movie works on for me as an action film, as a film of dragons and that kind of stuff, and that it's still being released says something about people still want this thing on Blu-ray. It would be nice if they could go back and do a 4K restoration, a Dolby Atmos soundtrack. I don't see that happening unless one of these boutique labels gets behind it, because the fact that Touchstone Pictures and Disney kind of shuffled this off to a Mill Creek release kind of tells me all I need to know. But I'm glad it's still available out there. If you want to see Matthew McConaughey chewing scenery as a buff American soldier and Christian Bale and Gerard Butler trying to keep everybody together when in the face of dragons, I think it's a decent story. Like I said, there could be more meat on the bones, but then again, do you want to overcomplicate this? One of the most expensive things in movies is to have a helicopter. There was an accident back on the Twilight Zone movie where an actor named Vic Morrow and a couple of child actors were killed on the set due to a helicopter accident. It is now the most expensive thing you can do in a movie is to have a helicopter. Well, they had a helicopter in this movie, and they use it every chance they get. Once it's introduced into the film, it's in the background, it's hovering over here, it's going over there. They really use it as much as they can. Of course, the movie poster had a team of helicopters on it, but there's one in this film. I think the dragon special effects are pretty good, but they were smart to not use them a lot. The dragons are quick and vicious, and you see them from a distance and then occasionally up close. There is a dead one that they investigate, and that was a physical thing. They actually made a physical, live, giant dragon to go cut things out of and play with steam and smoke rising. I'm a fan of Dragon Slayer and Dragon Heart and some of the other dragon movies, and this one goes up there. They did a good job designing the dragons. You've got a decent story that holds it all together. Is it one of the best movies I've ever seen? No. But this is one of those movies that comes on cable on the weekend. You go, I'm going to watch this because it's nonstop. It's about an hour and a half, about an hour and 40 minutes total. Moves quickly from scene to scene. I have not seen it in years, and I'm somebody who knew it very well back in the day, 20 plus years ago. And so I remembered some of the big beats that happened, but there were a lot of little things, the connective tissue of the movie that I had forgotten that really played out really well. I think the acting is really good overall, considering what they're doing. Everybody gives their all to make this a believable dragon story. Sure, some logic here and there. You could really pick this apart, but come on. It's dragons have taken over the world, and we're trying to survive. And in the end, it kind of has a positive ending. So all in all, I think Reign of Fire was surprisingly well done for its time and holds up well in 2025. Check it out. You can pick it up for about $8 on Amazon. Scott, I'm ROCKFILE. I got more podcasts on the way and some more interesting movies too. But this was just kind of a surprise that it held up as well as it did. Reign of Fire. It's available now. Scott, ROCKFILE. Thanks for listening. Have a spectacular day.